Fourth.
From now to Sunday, we will only be studying this. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 Namaste to everyone. In the tradition, there are many methodologies to convey that which is oneself. And what is this self? That which is the truth of the body, truth of the mind, the truth of the senses, that, from which this body, mind, sense has as it were come. But really speaking, that which is not just this body, not just this mind, not just the senses, the truth of everything without being any one thing. That truth, Atma, Brahman, Bhagavan, that is to communicate that would be impossible if the Atma were not self-evident. How will you communicate? That is Bhagavan. Okay, And that Bhagavan is you. Who is this you? Something that has to be brought to light by some other means of knowledge. How is it? One is not possible to bring that at all. It is not possible to communicate. Because the Atma happens to be self-evident, we are lucky, because the whole entire Vedanta Shastra is based on the Atma being self-evident. Otherwise there is nothing to teach. Since what I am, I know I am. And since what I am is in confusion, that confusion is removed. And I know I am stays. Correct? And so there are many techniques in the tradition to communicate this with the help of the self-reflexive, self-luminous, self-evident, self-radiant, self-shining I. And so in all situations, you delineate the I. And then from what do you delineate? From the not I. From that which is mistaken to be I, you delineate. And this is what is called a prakriya. Prakriya means pedagogy, the teaching methodology. And so like this we have many prakriyas. Karana karya prakriya. What does that mean? Cause effect prakriya. What is this cause effect prakriya? Here we are told that the effect is non-separate from the cause. Pot is not separate from clay, but the cause is separate from the effect. Effect is cause. Cause, however, is not effect. So this is called Karana Karya Prakriya. Anvaya Vyatireka Prakriya. The teaching methodology of something called concomitance. That which is invariable in every situation is cognized by removing that which is, by discrediting that which is variable. Correct? So that's how we, come to certain inferences in the world also. When the medicine antibiotic is not there, the fever and the infection are there. Then when the antibiotic is there, the fever and the infection are not there. Like this, you make certain inferences based on this kind of data. This is called Anvaya and Vyatireka. Anvaya, that which is constant. Vyatireka, that which keeps changing. So we have Karana Karya Prakriya, Anvaya Vyatireka. Then another famous one, which we are dealing with here, is called Avasthatraya Prakriya. The Prakriya or the teaching methodology involving the three states. Eating some more, and then sleeping. Yeah? Those are the three states?
No, dreaming.
No, that's not the three states. Waking, sleeping, and dreaming. So this is very interesting Prakriya, because it is all dependent upon the person who says, I am the waker. I am the dreamer. And who owns up the sleep and saying, I was the sleeper. Because the person cannot say, I am the sleeper. Then that means they are not asleep. If anybody says, I am sleeping, that means they are not sleeping. Correct? Yeah. Only later they can tell you, I was the sleeper. So then this is very interesting. So there, the states change. The waker becomes dreamer. Correct? And the dreamer becomes sleeper. Sleeper again becomes waker with difficulty. Yeah. And then sleeper becomes waker with difficulty. And then the waker again sleeper. Sleeper becomes dreamer. See, sleeper has a choice. Sleeper can become either dreamer or waker. Waker cannot become dreamer and then sleeper. Waker has to sleep and then dream. And dreamer also has choice. Dreamer can go back to sleep or wake up. Only the waker has no choice but to go to sleep. Yeah. How to identify the waker? Especially in a Vedanta class where everyone wants to sleep. This itself is a difficulty in applying this teaching methodology. Because I have been told by people that the best sleep you get is in Vedanta class. Yeah. Yeah, because that is really no sleep like that sleep. Why? Because you're just hearing Tattvamasi and you're going into that oneness. Everything is dissolving, everything is resolving, and you feel absolved. And then you just slip into that. So provided that is not happening today, I can teach this methodology. So provided that right now people are in the waking state, then I can ask the next question, which is the operation of this methodology. Who is the waker? And of course, what will you say? I am the waker. You will not say the fellow sitting next to me is the waker. Correct? Yeah. And then who slept yesterday? You will say, I did. I slept yesterday. It was not that my family members slept and I woke up. Alright, so who dreamed? Who had a dream? I? Whose dream was it? My dream. Correct? So what is constant here? What is Anvaya here? I, mine, I. And what is Vyatireka? What is the one that is separate? That keeps coming and going? The states of various states. Sleeper, waker, dreamer. And here another clue is that the sleeper, waker, dreamer all rely on this I. It's not that the waker is there and I am also there and I am talking to the waker. That is not happening. Why? Because I am the waker. And likewise, it's not that I am talking to the sleeper. Are you having good sleep? No. I am the sleeper. And likewise, I am not having a discussion with somebody else who is dreaming. I am the one who is dreaming. So the dreamer, sleeper, waker, they keep changing. And I am the one who is constant. The constant I seems to take on various states. And these states are called dreaming, sleeping, waking. And the Upanishad loves this analogy because then nobody can accuse the Upanishad of not being sensitive to experience and not talking about experience. Usually we say this is not about experience, this is about knowledge. Because you are experiencing things all the time, but you don't know the meaning of that experience. That has to be cognitively understood anyway. So this is not about experience, this is knowledge. We keep saying that. Correct? Yeah. So if this is about knowledge and not experience, why is the Upanishad focusing on experience? Because it is close to one's heart so that one can understand quickly. Pratipatti Saukaryartham. So, for ease of understanding, what is being focused on are the various experiences that this I undergoes. And what is of import here is that the same I morphs as it were into the sleeper and then undergoes the sleeping state, morphs as it were into the waker and undergoes the waking state, and morphs as it were into the dreamer and undergoes the dreaming experience. And the other important thing about this I is that the I can only inhabit one state at one time. Correct? You cannot say I am also sleeping and listening to the class. Can you say that? You can say that, but it is not believable. Correct? Yeah, and you can't say that I am dreaming and sleeping at the same time. No? So in other words, you can only inhabit, the I can only inhabit one state at a time. Correct? Yeah, and it is inhabiting one state at a time, and each state cancels out the previous state. Correct? So the sleeper is totally cancelled when one is the waker, and when one is sleeping, the waker is cancelled totally. Oh, but what about next morning? No, I'm talking right now. Don't worry about next morning. Because there's no guarantee that the person is going to wake up in the same place. May wake up elsewhere. Correct? So, right now, what it appears is that the sleeper cancels out the waker cancels out the sleeper cancels out the dreamer cancels the waker. And yet, in spite of all these cancellations, the I is constant. So, what is being cancelled? Is the I being cancelled? No. The states are being cancelled and replaced all the time. But why is this so hard to know? Why is this so hard to understand? It shouldn't be so hard to understand. Correct? But yet it is, because in the waking state, the waker identifies with itself as the waker. The I identifies with itself as the waker so completely, and it also identifies with the waking world as the reality. Correct? Yeah. And so that complete tadatmyam, or that identification with the waker and the waking world, creates mayhem. Yeah. It creates mayhem. Primarily because when the waker morphs as it were into the sleeper, when the I morphs from the waker to the sleeper, it feels that I myself am cancelled off. Yeah, that's what it is. So the I identifies with the states. So now we know so much about the avasthatraya prakriya that the I identifies completely with each state that it occupies. It can only occupy one state at one particular time, and each state seems to negate the other two states. Correct? This much we know. So how is this going to help us in Atma Pratipatti, in the understanding of oneself as the whole? Very simple. Because you take that which is invariable and then you knock off the variable. Like if you have an artifact that has been kept somewhere and it has gathered a lot of dust, and what you do? You blow on it and the dust goes away, leaving the artifact. Like that. So, waker is blown away, sleeper is blown away, dreamer is blown away, and the I is blown away.
No.
No. I is the blower. So then, the very important question arises that if the sleeper is blown away, the dreamer is blown away, up till now you are okay. But then when you say the waker is blown away, then immediately you feel, am I blown away? What about me? Because the identification with the waker is the biggest identification. Because there is the world to correspond to, a world of the so-called duality. Even in dream there is duality, but it's a construction of one's own knowledge and memories. Here it's a construction of one's own knowledge and memories via Ishvaratvam. So via Ishvara. So here it seems Ishvara Srishti. It's very difficult to transcend or negate. That's what the person feels. So as soon as you say the waker is also blown away like the dust on the artifact, and the artifact is I. Correct? That is the true identity of this I. It's not the dust that has gathered in the night in the form of sleep. You know, when you put children to sleep, you say, okay, we are going to put some star dust on your eyes and so you can sleep. So it's not the star dust in the eyes of the sleeper. It's not the Maya dust in the eyes of the waker. And it's not the Swamaya dust, one's own Maya's dust in the eyes of the dreamer. All the dust is blown away. And what is it that is left? That is what I want to know. What is left? When you negate the waker, negate the dreamer, negate the sleeper, what is left? The stateless I is left. Yeah. Like that fellow who is writing to every country seeking asylum.
Oh, yeah.
Snowden, you know? Yeah.
Right.
So what happened? He was the whistleblower in something and now he is being charged as a spy. And he cannot set foot in this country, correct? And truthfully, anybody friendly to this country will not want him because that will be seen as some kind of a betrayal of friendship. So all these vague countries whose names we have only studied in the in the geography lessons, these new countries are wanting him, that's all. And so right now, like this person neither belongs to the United States nor belongs to any other place, any other state. And he is a stateless person, correct? Yeah. And there is a lot of anxiety about being stateless. There is a sense of non-belonging. There is a sense of feeling adrift and left by oneself somewhere, hanging out. Nobody wants me, nobody is taking me. We cannot interpolate that to the Atma. Yeah. Because the Atma lends its presence to the state. Yeah. That same I is not just the waker but the entire waking world. We saw this last time. Vishva and Virat. Because the corresponding, it's always macro and micro together. And the I is not just the sleeper but also manifests as the sleeping world, which is called Ishvara. The Prajna, the ignorant, the I with completely as it were cloaked in ignorance during the sleep state, is connected to the sleeping world of Ishvara, where without any causality, that Ishvara that is divested of causality is is immediately the same on the micro level as this jiva divested of the kartritvam in the waking state. In the sleep there is no kartritvam, correct? So, and in the dreaming state, the dreamer corresponds to that larger world, the dreaming world. So, this being the totality of the three states, the stateless I is called Turiya. Yeah. Chaturiya, short for Chaturiya. The Turiya is mistaken in modern Vedanta and other places as the fourth state. There is no fourth state, there is only fourth estate. What is the fourth estate? What is that? Yeah, the press is called the fourth estate. Journalism. That is what is called the fourth estate. There is no fourth state. There are only three states. You cannot call the occupier of the three states one more state. Correct? So the stateless I, by nature the I is stateless. It is neither connected to the states of the waker, the dreamer, or the sleeper, nor is it in any way implicated in the waking world, the dreaming world, or the sleeping world. It is neither the part of the, it is at the macro level neither the waker, nor is it the waking world. Neither the sleeper, nor the world of the unmanifest. Neither the dreamer, nor the manifesting potential, the world that is potentially manifesting. So then, this is what has to be understood in these in this verse and the mantra we studied last time. That this I alone is. So this is called Anvaya, that which is constant. Because I don't say the neighbor went to sleep and I woke up. I am the one owning up the three states. And anything that I observe is not I. Anything that I observe through inference, anything that I observe through the five sense organs, anything that I observe through what is called pratyaksha, the five main ways of knowing, anything that I can, logically come to a conclusion, anything that I can know by any means as an object is not myself. So the waker is not me, correct? Or we can actually better to say, waker is nothing. Where does the waker have a being? In me alone. Where does the sleeper? Where is the content of the sleeper? I. Where does the dreamer have a being? I. You cannot, no dream can be there without the dreamer, correct? Sometimes, if you go to temples and ashrams, there is a lost and found box. Various items will be there. The coat, scarf, gloves in the winter, all these things. Books, pen, paper. One thing you will not find is a dream. Who does this dream belong to? No. Why? Because it can never exist without the dreamer. It can never exist without the dreamer. Dream cannot exist without the dreamer. And who is this dreamer? I. And similarly, the waking world cannot exist without the waker, without the I in the form of the waker. The same I that is as it were morphing, this constantly shape-shifting morphing I, the same I that has as though morphed into the waker. So the waking world is dependent on the waker, really. Because the waker goes about transacting business, the waker goes about doing all kinds of things, the waker goes about interacting with the waking world, and there is only one waker, I. Oh, but there are so many people who are awake at the same time. Oh, who is awake? The body is awake. Mind is awake. Who is awake? Who is inhabiting? Who is the truth of that waker? I. How many eyes? One eye. So the waker transacts business. The waker also names all the things in the waking world which are inert. The waker alone is sentient, is the only source of sentience, and interacts with all the things that move and don't move, and names all the insentient things, and the insentient things of the waking world are become the object of observation, research, knowledge, and transactions of the waker. So the waker is a status that is superimposed upon the Atma, Adhyastha. The sleeper is a status that is superimposed upon the sleepless Atma. And the dreamer likewise is a status that is superimposed upon the Atma alone. While the Atma is free of waking, dreaming, sleeping, waking world, dreaming world, sleeping world. We saw all the three corresponding names, correct? Last time? Vishva, waker, Virat, the waking world, Taijasa, dreamer, individual dreamer, Hiranyagarbha, the world of manifesting potential at the collective level, Prajna, Prakarshena Ajnaha, the ignorant sleeper, and then the unmanifest world, Ishvara, without the causality. So all this is just coming out of the eye. Just like when we chanted Om, 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 waker, sleeper, and then after that silence, neither waker nor dreamer nor sleeper. Om, waker again. Very beautiful. The chant followed by silence. That silence is nothing but consciousness. And what is the chant? Chant is nothing but consciousness. Consciousness in the form of chant, consciousness in the form of silence, consciousness in the form of chant, consciousness in the form of silence, chant, consciousness, chant, consciousness, silence, consciousness, silence, consciousness. You remove the chant and the silence, what is left? Consciousness. This is what is avasthatraya prakriya. And here the Prajapati, the teacher, is teaching the sage Ashvalayana this prakriya, and we have already seen the first one. I think we should chant it because we have already seen it so that we recall it. Sa eva maya parimohitatma
Saeva Maya Parimoditatma
Shariramasthaaya karoti sarvam
Shariramastaya Karoti Sarvam
Striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi
Striyanapadi Vichitra Bhogai
Sa eva jagrit paritriptimeti
Saeva Jagrat Paritriptamiti
Swapne sajivas sukha dukha bhokta
Swapne Sajiva Sukha Dukha Bhokta
Swamayaya kalpita jivaloke
Swamayaya Kalpita Jiva Loke
Sushupti kale sakale viline Tamo vibhuta sukharupameti Punascha janmantara karma yogat Sa eva jivasvapitiv prabuddhaha Puratraye kridati yascha jivaha Tatastu jatam sakalam vichitram Adharamanandamakhanda bodham Yasmillayam yati puratrayancha Yeah. So the first one we have done. Now that was the waking state. And what does the person do in the waking state? You know, bhoga. This body is called bhoga ayatanam. Ayatanam means what? The vehicle for experiencing. And when is this vehicle active? Only in the waking state, correct? In the sleep and dream, it is not a bhoga ayatanam. Only in the waking state is it special time to collect all the special experiences that, and eat those berries, correct? Bhoga ayatanam. And then, now what happens? Let us see in the swapne, in the dream state, what happens? Sajivaha, that same jiva. You see, that same thing we have to understand. It's not another jiva that is coming and occupying. First jiva was waker, second jiva was sleeper, third jiva was dreamer, correct? And the fourth jiva is chaturiya. No. It's the same person. And so that same Purusha is occupying these three states, one after the other. Swapne sa eva jivaha, that jiva alone, sukha dukkha bhogta. So, not satisfied with experiencing sukha and dukkha in the waking state, what does the person do? Yeah, even in the dream, regurgitates the sorrowful memories and manages to have bad dreams, correct? Yeah. Sometimes bad dreams, sometimes sad dreams, sometimes mad dreams, and once in a while, dreams I have won the lottery. And then what happens? He's taking the lottery ticket to the shop or wherever you take, and then the wind blows it away. Yeah, the dream lottery, dream money, dream wind, all gone, correct? So, therefore, sukha dukkha bhogta, the person, not satisfied with keeping on experiencing all kinds of nonsense in the waking state, continues to experience further nonsense in the dream state as well. And so, what is this dream state is given in the next one, swamayaya, projected by one's own maya. What is this one's own maya? Huh? What is this maya? Avidya here. Yeah. My own avidya, which gives rise to desires and everything. And that avidya comes with an inhibited shakti. Bhagavan's maya is vidya, correct? All knowledge, all power. The jiva's maya is based on avidya, so not much power. And it's an inhibited power to create, to sustain and to resolve. Very inhibited. And so this maya uses as the raw material, for the dream, the memories and the knowledge, mixes them together. It reminds me of T.S. Eliot's poem, The Waste Land. Very beautiful. April is the cruelest month. He begins like this. Bringing lilacs out of the dead land. Mixing memory and desire, he says. Stirring dull roots in the spring rain. This very nicely describes the dream state. Very beautiful. Mixing memory and desire. This is what the dream state is. Yeah. And stirring the dull roots. Dull means tamas. Yeah. Stirring dull roots. Yeah. And the spring rain is this inhibited Maya Shakti that makes something out of these dull roots of memory and desire. And here is this dream state. And in fact, the dreaming is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Because in the dream, a lot of prarabdha kshaya takes place. Kshaya means exhaustion. Yeah, of prarabdha. Without any culpability. Suppose this is a documented fact. Some place I read that this this person was wanting to avoid being imprisoned. There was a strong imprisonment possibility in the horoscope. In the horoscope, there was that you're going to be behind the bar behind the bars. There was some kind of a yoga in the horoscope. And so the person made sure to have certain dreams of being incarcerated. And so that this would not happen in real life. Real life means
Correct.
a little more real than than the dream. Yeah. So that is what this thing. So a lot of suggestions were given. You keep looking. You look at these shows where everybody is locked up and things like that. You try to do that. So this is what somebody tried. I don't know if they were successful or not, but this is what was tried. And but you can't really induce the dream, can you? You can try, but you can't really induce the dream. But the dream is a good place for exhaustion of prarabdha. And so what happens? Sa eva sajivaha, sukha dukkha bhokta. So during the waking state, the bhokta was also a sukha dukkha bhokta, but was also karta. In dream there is no karta, only bhokta. Swamayaya, out of one's own uninhibited power, kalpita jiva loke. So creates a jiva srishti in the sleeping state, which morphs into the dream state, creates a jiva srishti which morphs into the dream in the dream state. And this is what is called the dream state, and the person is just a bhokta. Then what happens in sleep? Sushupti kale, in the sleep state, sakale viline, with everything coming to a place of resolution, vilina, resolution, sakale viline, tamobhibhutaha sukharupameti, covered by ignorance in the sleep state, ignorant of the body, ignorant of oneself, ignorant of self-knowledge, ignorant of the senses, ignorant of the mind, ignorance personified, correct? Covered in tamas, tama abhibhutaha, what does the person get? Sukharupam eti, gets to, attains the nature of Ananda. What do you mean attains the nature of Ananda? Here I have been racking my head to attend this 1 month course, and now at the end of the 1 month course with 2 days left to go, you have the temerity to tell me that all I needed was to go to sleep to attain the nature of Ananda? How dare you? How dare you mislead me for 28 days and then in the last 2 days put this spoof on me that all you need is to go to sleep. That is why the Tikakara gives a very good distinction. I'm going to read this for you. He says, Tamobhibhutaha ajnana avrittaha sukharupam, swaprakasham atmanam ananda swarupam, eti gacchati. Meaning being covered by tamas gets a certain ananda from that, and which is non-separate from one's own nature, which is ananda. And then he gives a caveat. He says, etavan sushuptau mokshecha samaha nyayah. So lest you think that moksha and sushupti are one and the same. let me disabuse you of the notion that sushupti, that the deep sleep state and moksha are one and the same. Let you not go away thinking that. Ko visheshaha, what's the difference? Iyamstu visheshaha. This is the main thing. He says that even though both are ananda, in the sleep state, because it is covered by ignorance, the person doesn't access the ananda. Attains ananda all right, becomes one with ananda all right, but doesn't know that it has been attained. That is why you have to, you cannot sleep in Vedanta class. Do you see? I have given a compelling reason. I have given a very compelling reason. One reason why you cannot sleep in Vedanta class, because even though you become Ananda, you don't know you are Ananda. You have to wake up to hear that you are Ananda and understand that. And so this is a compelling reason not to, sleep in Vedanta class. And another compelling reason to choose Vedanta between sleep and Vedanta as a route to moksha is because in sleep every day you have moksha. Correct? Every night you have moksha. Even if you don't have moksha, Other people in your family gain moksha from you, because for the time that you are asleep, you are not making noise and demanding things of them. So, either you give moksha or you get moksha. So, in sleep you get moksha. It's the same ananda, but you don't know because there is tamas. Yeah, because you are completely overpowered by that avarna shakti of maya. There is no way to know that you are the whole. So between sleep and self knowledge, what will you choose? Self knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. In between self knowledge you can sleep, no problem. Yeah. So therefore what? Sushupti kale sakale viline. So in the sleep what happens? Everything goes. I am, who I am goes, what I am not goes, who is my mother goes, who is my father, no understanding, totally gone. The same person that you were crying over, oh, why I can't get this person in my life, and why this person will not be my friend. In the sleep you don't even know them, correct? Yeah. Who is my brother? Don't know. Who is my sister? Don't know. Any question you ask of the sleeper, what will be the answer? Don't know. That I don't know is the only thing that you know in sleep. Yeah. That's why when you wake up you say, Sukhamaham asvapsam, nakinchid avedisham. I don't know anything. I slept very well. Correct? I didn't remember anything. I didn't know anything. So when you say, I don't know anything, what do you say? I know that I didn't know anything. Yeah. That I know alone is left. But then since you don't know that you know, then that I know is covered by don't know. Do you see that? Yeah. Just say yes, even if you don't see that.
I know that I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know that I don't know, everybody knows. But did you get the second part? I know that I don't know. Correct? But then both the I know, the I know is covered by the I don't know in a certain sense. So the I don't know predominates. That I know, I don't know is as it were covered at that time of the sleep. Later on that uncovering takes place in the waking state. Therefore I say, I know, I don't know. In sleep, I know that I don't know, but that I know is also in a causal state. So that is also difficult to access, impossible to access. The mind has gone to a causal state. Just like I don't know I am sleeping, I don't know that I know. Okay? Yeah. So then next one, what happens after this? In other words, why does anyone wake up? This is a good question, right? What makes you wake up from sleep? I told you last time.
Karma.
Yeah. Which kind of karma? Prarabdha karma. Has to be. Prarabdha karma only makes one wake up. Your own karma. That's why when you wake up, what is the first thought? Kya karu? What do I have to do today? So, punascha janmantara karma yogat. So, this karma has come from janmantara, means antara, means different janmas. Previous janma, the one previous to that janma, the previous, usse bhi previous janma. And all these janmas, there are so many karmas, correct? Yeah, so if you cannot sleep, don't blame the pharmacist. Yeah, don't blame the people in the house. Because you are snoring, I cannot sleep. Don't blame anyone. The only thing to see is your own karma is inhibiting your 40 winks. That is why some people have 40 winks, some people have 80 winks, and some people don't blink at all. And so, therefore, punascha janmantara karma yoga. So, all these karmas waiting to fructify in this janma alone, through that what happens? Not just the sleeping is governed by karma, the waking is also governed by karma. Then sa eva jiva, which the evakarat, the emphasis, that jiva alone, which jiva? The one that went to sleep alone. That is the one swapiti prabuddha. So that the one who was dreaming, correct? In the last one, yeah. The swapiti prabuddha. So swapiti means sleeps, and then Swapiti or Prabuddha wakes up. So from the dream, the person goes to sleep or goes to wake up. Correct? Yeah. From the dream, you can go back to sleep or you can wake up. That is what is being pointed out. If you go to sleep, it's also because of karma. And from dream, if you immediately wake up, it's also because of karma. And then that same jiva who was dreaming wakes up or goes to sleep. And like this, Puratraye Kridati. There are 3 cities where you play. The jiva plays in 3 cities. You know, it's like a person has a place where they reside, and then they have a summer house somewhere, and in the winter they go somewhere else. Correct? They have a winter vacationing resort, and then they have a summer house. So then in the rest of the time they are working, they are in one place. Then they in the winter they go to Florida. In summer they go somewhere else in the mountains. They go to Colorado. So they go to Colorado, they go to Florida, and then they are in some other uninteresting place the rest of the time. Correct? Yeah. So let us say it's like this, like a dream life of an American. Correct? In the West. So then like this, you can say that that person who has a summer home somewhere in the Colorado mountains and who has a winter home somewhere in the Florida, in the islands, Key Islands, correct? And so that person, and who is living in a different place where the work is right now. So that person, you can say Puratraye Kridati sa jiva. That jiva is so fortunate that the person gets to play in 3 different states. Goes to Florida, goes to Colorado, and then also goes to wherever the workplace is. The primary place of residence is, So like this, what does, our jiva under prakritam, under discussion, what does our jiva do? Yeah. Also has a summer home and a winter home, And what is the winter home is the home of hibernation, which is the sleep. The summer home is full of, what is that? The dream, and then the rest of the time is awake. So they are playing in 3 different places. Like our protagonist in our example, in Florida goes and plays golf in the in the winter, and goes to ski in the mountains of Colorado. So like this, different games for different states. So in sleep, the game is called, let's be ignorant game. In the waking, let's take everything seriously. That's the game. Correct? Yeah. So, and then in the dream, let us just experience the residual, whatever sukha and dukha. Let us be an experiencer game. Correct? The whole thing is like playing charades. Puratraye kridati. Kridati means play. To creed, to play. Puratraye, in these 3 states, endlessly plays. Yahacha jivaha. And this jiva who plays is, and here is the secret, Ashvalayana's teacher, Prajapati, points out, here is the secret. Up till now it was fun. Now we are getting serious. Tatastu jatam sa eva jivaha. From this jiva alone, tataha astu jatam, tataha tu, from this jiva alone, jatam sakalam vichitram. This whole variegated universe is a manifestation of this jiva alone. Look at that. What do you mean? First you said that this person goes from one state to another state. And but I also said that the truth of all the 3 states is the stateless consciousness, which gives rise, as it were, to the states. Not really, because these states are not real. Not as real as consciousness. They have a certain reality in the sense that they are projected, they are existent, they are objectifiable, and they depend on consciousness. So therefore they are called mithya. They cannot be categorically said not to exist, but at the same time they cannot be categorically established as existent either. So they are in between existence and non-existence, which is why it is very difficult to deny them, and very difficult to accept them as real either. They can neither be, established, they can neither be validated, nor can they be totally denied. This is the beauty of Maya. Yeah, this is Maya. As soon as you start to point, okay, this must be you, she just shimmies away from that area. And so therefore, tataha tu jatam sakalam vichitram. Vichitram means not weird, variegated. This variegated multiverse, has come from this jiva alone, from the truth of this jiva. Out of this jiva alone is born sakalam, all this, what? Diversity, vichitram, multiversity. And who is the fourth state? What is the truth of this fourth state? There is no fourth state, but the one who is neither the sleeper, nor the dreamer, nor the waker. Who is this Atma? Now you cannot call the person Jiva. Jiva means the one who has embraced ignorance. So here the ignorance is going in this teaching. So therefore, who is this Atma? Adharam. This is the Adhisthana. Adhara means Adhisthana. The Adhisthana of all three. Anandam, whose Swarupa is that of Ananda alone, limitlessness. And then Akhandam, impartite. Bodham, in the form of Chit, knowledge. See, Anandam, Akhanda Bodham, Adharam, Sat Chit Ananda. It's a different way of saying Sat Chit Ananda. I love to see how many ways the Upanishad Vedanta texts talk about Sat Chit Ananda. You can say Sat Chit Sukham, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Sat Chit Ananda, or Adharam Anandam Akhanda Bodham. And this Akhandam has to be applied to all the words. Akhanda Adharam, Akhandam Anandam, Akhandam Bodham. Cha. It's all Akhanda, imparted. Akhanda means imparted. And then out of this jiva alone, out of this consciousness, it goes back. And the three worlds are all this is born out of the jiva, which in this the jiva sports in the three worlds, the three fields of experience, and the three worlds resolve back into that Atma alone, which is indivisible consciousness, indivisible adhisthana of everything, indivisible and limitless. This is what the beauty of it is. Very nice. So you see, you have these three states. This is how the avasthatraya prakriya proceeds. You have these three states of experience. And then you talk about each one. What is the vishesha of each one? In the waking state, the jiva is karta and bhokta. And there is a duality other than itself that it can interact with. There is Ishvara Srishti, so to speak. And then in the sleep state, all that predominates is I don't know. Correct? Even I don't know is inhibited. Even I don't know is inhibited. All that predominates is I don't know. Upon waking, you say I know, I didn't know. And then the dream state is a morphing of the memories and desires into a so-called reality which is projected out of oneself, self-projected reality. And then these states are all, both the occupier of the state and the author of the states are one and the same. This is something wonderful to know. That Atma alone has projected the state in which it plays. Yeah. So you make first a sandbox and then you get into the sandbox and start building a castle and call it the waking state. So you have, who has made the castle? You. Who has made the sandbox? You. Who has played in it? You. So you inhabit it and you are the author of it. Just like you build a house and then you occupy it, correct? So you have built three houses, waking house, sleeping house, dreaming house, and you occupy all three of them successively. And you are the author, you are the occupier. And really and you are the house itself, really. So how can you be the house, the author of the house and the occupier of the house? Only one way, if you are none of the above. Yeah. How can you be the creator of the state, the occupier of the state, the resolver of the state, and the projector of the state? How can you do that? Because you are not any of the states. You are neither the author, nor the occupier, nor the one who is affected by the houses and the states. You are that stateless Atma, which is Satchidananda, Akhanda Bodha, Akhanda Adhara, the truth of everything, the one in which everything, rests and everything, projects and everything is sustained. You are that, which is Akhanda Bodha in the form of sentience, that sentience which morphs into knower known knowledge, that knowledge which is free of any divisions, and that the morphing is all as though. And then Akhanda Bodha, Akhanda Adhara, and then and it says Akhanda Ananda also. So the Adhisthana is you, and then everything comes and goes because you are there. You are the Sat, everything else is Mithya. So the waking state is also Mithya. Next one. Etasmad jayate pranaha. Etasmad jayate pranaha. Manas sarvendriyani cha. Kham vayujyotirapah. Prithvi vishvasya dharini. Etasmat, from this alone. Who is this? Etasmat atmanah. Jayate is born. Prana, the whole subtle world. All the prana. The whole subtle world. And then manaha, the mind. Sarva indriyanicha, all the organs of action, the sense organs and the organs of action, including from where the source of the sense organs is what? The 5 elements. So kham, space, vayuhu, what is vayuhu? Air, jyotihi, fire, apaha, waters, prithvi, earth. All this has come from what? Etasmat atmanah. Etasmat atmanah eva. From this Atma alone, everything is born, including the earth which you think supports everything. Who is the one who gave birth to earth? Atma. From this Atma alone, everything is born. This is a verse that also occurs in Mundaka Upanishad and in one more Upanishad, probably in Shvetashvatara as well. But Mundaka, it definitely occurs. And here, this is similar to what is said in the Taittiriya Upanishad. And what is the Taittiriya Upanishad say? Tasmad va etasmad atmana akashas sambhutah akashad vayuhu vayor agnihi agnerapah adbhyah prithivi prithivya oshadhayah oshadhibhyonnam annat purushah. The whole cosmology. So it's not that it is dismissed. You see, this is how we deal with Maya or Mithya. It cannot be dismissed. Otherwise, you will be living in a dissociated world. It cannot be dismissed, but the beauty is it need not be dismissed. This is what is called Indian magic. Without trying to make the pot disappear and say, where is the pot, what pot? I can have it right here. Talk to you about it being clay. And then I say, where is the pot? What pot? I don't even have to do anything to take the pot away from your eyes. I can, while having the pot right here, I'll say, where is this pot? Where is the pot? You say, there is no pot. What pot? No pot. What pot? All I see is clay. You see? That's the thing. That is the beauty of this whole entire thing. So, etasmat jayate. So, we have a certain cosmology where the as though birth of the 5 elements and the elementals are documented in the various Upanishads, are talked about. But the point, the tatparya, the point, the goal of the Upanishad is not to establish what came first and how many elements are there. No, we are not in the least bit interested in that. We want to know that which brings these mithya elements into being, that adhara, that support which sustains everything and into which everything resolves. That is Satyam. The other is the as though projection. And more we shall see about this tomorrow. Tomorrow same time in the evening. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yeah, if there is anybody who was taking the Panchadashi class, we finished it this afternoon. So we have a slightly longish class. You can access it from live stream and watch that if you missed that today. Yeah, any questions I can take now? Yeah.
So sleep is also prarabdha karma.
Sleep is also prarabdha karma, yeah.
So dream is also what? If one doesn't dream or you think you don't dream.
You think you don't dream, but you do dream. But then, you know, Sachin is asking a question here. Is lucid dreaming also another state? You know? Yes, according to the Upanishad it is. Even though we would just put it in the dream state because it is a form of dreaming. In Upanishad it is called Ubhayataf Prajna. So where the prajna, that knowledge, is kind of, like a cat is in between the door. In the winter when the cat wants to come in, it won't come in. It will go two paws in, two paws out. It will stand there and make up its mind. So like this, the lucid dreaming is neither awake nor sleeping, and it's kind of a half awake dreaming, kind of a. So it is called Ubhayataf Prajna. And the beautiful thing about this Ubhayata Prajna is that it is the same, even though lucid dreaming accidentally happens sometimes for people, it is a constant state of the avatara. When the avatara comes, like Rama and Krishna, Bhagavan in the form of Rama and Krishna walk the earth, they always have lucid dreaming state, Ubhayata Prajna. Yeah. That's why they have all knowledge. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is what they say. Yeah.
And also,
In the waking state, people often feel that dream memory is important, and they'll keep dream diaries and want to analyze dreams and
Dream journal. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm inclined to think that having no memory awaking above dreams, or having, if you will, a real discontinuity between the two states is not a problem.
No, it is. If it's not a problem, it's not a problem. But the dream journaling is a useful exercise for those who are trying to recover suppressed memories, which are coming in from the childhood or something. The suppressed memories sometimes come in the form of scary dreams or recurrent dreams, or, Carl Jung, who dealt with all this, called every dream an unopened letter. You have to open it. You have to know how to open it. Yeah, you have to know how to open it. And then it yields, if you know how to open it, it yields a lot of information about the unconscious. Yeah. And it's fine to say I have an unconscious and it's not bothering me, so I don't have to, do this. So with knowledge, the unconscious will not bother. But sometimes if the unconscious comes in the way of even gaining the knowledge, that is when you have to do the dream analysis and therapy and everything, because there is a big block. And maybe the dream will yield some information how to unblock this, the unconscious. So and also there may be other memories suppressed, which suppressed memories are not a problem so long as they don't interfere in your everyday transactions. But maybe it is stopping somebody from taking up a job, or they are having a nervousness in exams. They can never sit for exams. They are so scared. So all this, the dream analysis helps.
see on the other side, when you have, they say, unfulfilled desires, sometimes you dream it out. And then that ends the matter. You say, okay, I dreamt it out, but it didn't happen in life.
Yeah.
that is also there.
Right.
What do you think of repetitive dreams? You know?
Yeah, that's what. The recurrent dream is like many letters being sent to the same address. You have to open
No,
it.
it's the same dream being, no, it's the
I
same
know.
dream being repeated.
Yes, it's like the same letter being sent, reminders. Notices are coming every time. You have to open the notice.
Yes.
You have to notice the
Yes.
notice. That's why it's called notice. And so you have to open it. There is a message there. You have to write it down, go to a dreamologist. Yeah. So can you please explain where the Om chant again, where is the dream state? The U is the dream state, but the A and the U are married. They become O, so they cannot be separated. Om, so actually none of them can be separated, but the U is the dream state. So Om, waker, dreamer, sleeper, and the truth of the waker, dreamer, sleeper, everything is covered. That's why it's such a beautiful chant, very, very holy. Avasthatraya Prakriya, there are only 3 states because Turiya is not an avastha. That's correct. Turiya is not an avastha. What is Turiya? Turiya is you. Yeah, the you that plays in the 3 states. Yes. You are not the 4th one. You are the one who plays in all the 3. Correct? Yeah. I don't dream. Do you think I can dream and I don't remember? Or do you think my mind is clearing? It's not a bad thing to dream. There's no problem with dreaming or not dreaming. There's no problem with remembering the dreams or not remembering the dreams. We just don't take it too seriously. You're okay. You're fine. And then what about the unconscious state? There is no consciousness, but there is life. No. See, we are using consciousness in a different way than that. Yeah. We are using consciousness as awareness. So unconsciousness is not a state because that's just a disturbance at the level of the prana, which can be resolved. Yeah. You just sprinkle some water, they come back to life, or if they don't come back to life, they are in coma. That is the comatose. Yeah. In comatose, it is like sleep only. So unconsciousness is equated to sleep. Because the same thing, I don't know, I was unconscious. That's what they will say. I really traveled from Chicago to Colorado, but my boss is not allowing me to play during work time. Can I tell my boss about avastha and play? You can try it. If anybody can succeed, it is you. Yeah. If you can get away with it, yes, no problem. Why wake up if prarabdha can be removed in sleep? No, prarabdha cannot be removed in sleep. Prarabdha is only removed in dream. That's why you have to wake up. Yeah. Because of prarabdha you go to sleep. Because of another prarabdha you wake up. Yes. Very nice question. I'm enjoying myself. Hari Om, all the best. Here Ananda is not Ananta, right? Here Ananda and Ananta are synonyms. From the individual pursuit it is called Ananda, but what that Ananda is, its own nature is called Ananta. Okay? Yeah, there is no difference. Om. Yeah, tomorrow 6 o'clock. How does love, compassion fit into all this? Yeah, it's your nature. Ananta, Ananda is love. It's another name for love. It's you.